That's me, and I'm coming to you with a brand new deck profile this week. And this week I am doing Gem Knights. Recently, this little engine here, Brilliant Fusion, has been getting a lot of attention. So much that Brilliant Fusion has gone up to $10. At some points, I'm not quite sure if it is currently, but as of at least last week, it definitely was quite an expensive card for a super rare. And Gem Knights are actually not that bad in general. They're like bridging Gem tier 2, maybe not quite there, but the deck itself is actually it's fun to play. It's a good local level deck. And it's just entertaining. So let's get into it. I play 3 Gem Armadillo. This is the only real searcher for the Gem Knights that I do play in terms of a monster. When he's normal summon, you can add 1 Gem Knight monster from your deck to your hand. It thins out your deck. It's great because he is a good rock target for when you want to get out Zirconia. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with Zirconia, so that's really funny. But Gem Armadillo is a fantastic card, so that's good. 3 Garnet, 3 Tourmaline, and 3 Sapphire. I'm playing these 3 just simply because they're all level 4. They're normal monsters, so you can play with the normal engine a lot. So that's good. They also get out different things. I personally like Tourmaline the best just simply because he gets out Prismara, and Prismara is probably one of the better Gem Knight fusions just simply because he allows you to pop a card on the field. Citrine, I'll go over them later, but yeah, in my opinion, Prismara is the best. Moving on, double Lazuli. I feel like Lazuli is just such a good card, but you can't play it at more than 2. I think 3 gets a little cloggy. You draw into it just too much, and it becomes a good target for cards like Brilliant Fusion. It's a great card for when you want to fusion someone in general. So Lazuli is a great card. I also play 2 Trick Clown. This works absolutely great with Brilliant Fusion as seen in the meta recently. It's kind of like a reverse engine in a way. Typically in Performance decks, you're seeing 2 Garnet and 3 Brilliant Fusion. In this deck, you're seeing 2 Trick Clown just because it helps balance it out. It's very useful for getting out Seraphonite, which allows you to rank 4 much more easily. So Trick Clown is very good. I don't play the rest of the Perform Mages just simply because it's not necessary. There is a build that I have that does, but honestly, it becomes a bit of a hindrance sometimes, and I'll explain to that in just a second. Explain why that is in a second. And then 1 Rescue Rabbit because you're playing a large level 4 normal monster lineup, so Rescue Rabbit is absolutely necessary. This is what I was talking about in terms of Trick Clown and how it can be somewhat of a hindrance. Absorb Fusion. This is such a good card for Gem Knights in general, but it can be such a pain in the neck to work with. One, you get to add 1 Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 of them per turn. The real problem with this card is that you can't special summon monsters the turn you activate the card except for Gem Knight monsters. However, it does let you fusion summon from your extra deck, obviously, from using monsters on your hand on your side of the field, but you have to banish them, which is kind of bad because you actually prefer Gem Knights to be in the graveyard rather than just not being able to have any access to them at all. So generally when I play Absorb Fusion, it's just so I can search. It's essentially a Rota card that can search out any other Gem Knight card in the deck. 3 Brilliant Fusion is actually pretty useful in this deck, and it works so well with Gem Knight Fusion. If you don't know how this card works, Brilliant Fusion, you get to fusion summon 1 Gem Knight Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your deck as fusion materials, but changes attack and defense to 0. And when it leaves the card, destroy the monster. Also, once per turn, you can discard 1 spell card. The monster special summoned by this card's effect gains attack and defense equal to its original attack and defense until the end of your opponent's turn. So this works really well with Gem Knight Fusion because once you dump the Gem Knights in grave, unless you have Lazulis, you can't really do anything, and typically you'll banish the Lazuli so you can add the Gem Knight Fusion back to your hand or 1 of the fusions. So you just keep recycling this and activating this. It also Gem Knight Fusion also works very well with Prismara, but Gem Knight Fusion. It's a basic fusion card, but it allows you to recur it by adding it back to your hand by banishing 1 Gem Knight monster from your graveyard. So that's very, very useful. I play 3 just simply because it allows you to do stupid stuff with Brilliant Fusion and Prismara. So that's purely why. Otherwise, I really wouldn't care. I also play 3 MST, and because it's back row, again, sucks, and 2 Unexpected Die. This is such a good card. It's essentially a hero lives for normal monsters. It allows you to rank 4 very easily, so Unexpected Die, very good card. Play 1 Raigeki and 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial can be used to get Lazuli or Trick Clown Engrave. It just depends on the scenario that you are in, so Foolish Burial is definitely necessary. For the traps, I played double Phoenix Chain. Really, as long as you have effect negation or in some way, shape, or form, it's fine. I just Phoenix Chain just because in this particular deck I would prefer it over Breakthrough Skill, just because there aren't a lot of great monsters that can just hold their own on the field if left that way. Double Black Horn of Heaven, just simply because like it's okay. This is just simply there because of testing. You can throw in Great Horde of Heaven when Solemn Notice comes out. This definitely will be coming out. So that's just there just because that's what I was using in testing, and quite honestly that was okay. Again, this is a local level deck, so Black Horn of Heaven is entirely plausible for that, so why not? I also play 1 Solemn, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Compulse. So yeah. For the extra deck, I play double Seraphonite because I only play 2 Trick Clown, and it's a very very good card. Just for getting rank 4s out, or in general just doing massive damage. 2 Zirconia. This card is so hard for people to deal with. It's a 2900 beater. That's a normal fusion type monster, so it can't be stopped by Phoenix Chain. It can't be stopped by things that negate effects or specifically target effect monsters. So Zirconia can get over a lot of things. Really the only card that has trouble getting over is Dark Destroyer, if you're looking at the meta. So Zirconia is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Double Prismara, just because it can pop things, and I like the fact that it can do that. 1 Citrine, it is basically a Armades with less attack, which is sometimes annoying because 2300 obviously is more preferable to 2200. And then finally, I play 1 Amethyst. This card's okay. It's not the best, not mainly because there aren't a lot of decks right now that play a lot of back row. So it is it can be somewhat useful against getting just stopping pendulum scales from being annoying during your turn, but really in general, they don't really do much during your opponent's turn anyway, or during their opponent's turn, so whatever. 1 Gemini Pearl, this is in here just simply for the same reason why Zirconia is in. It's a 2600 beater, and it's a normal Xyz monster, so again, it's very hard to deal with. But also, it's a Gemnite monster, so that's also important, just simply because if you, for whatever reason, it gets stopped or you need to get it off the field because it has a Trick Clown under it and you want to use it for rank 4 play, you can always fusion someone with it, and that's sometimes pretty good. 1 Castell, 1 Emerald, because you are pitching things to the graveyard quite a bit. 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Honor Arc, 1 Cowboy, and 1 Masquerade. Masquerade you actually make very, very consistently. I've made this thing at least twice every single match that I have. And when I do, it's usually an instant win, just simply because it's so hard to get around, and being able to deal damage to your opponent on their turn is pretty ridiculous. Also, being able to send your opponent's cards to the graveyard without targeting anything from the top of their deck is pretty awesome. I can't tell you how many times I sent Vanities or any other card that is just difficult to deal with in general with his effects. So Masquerade is is an extremely great card, so I would not be taking this card out. So thank you guys for watching this deck profile. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a great day.